Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, whenever you're watching, and welcome to True Day 6, a 21-day self-coaching, self-transformational journey designed to make 2022 your best year yet. I'm your host, Miles Grant, founder of Certified Elite Performance Coaching. If you've missed days 1 to 5, somewhere there is the recordings are on our Facebook page and on my YouTube channel. So feel free to check those out. We've covered a lot of ground in the first 5 days. We've looked at emotions. We've looked at family and friendships. We've looked at your character. We've gone deep. We didn't wait around. We've gone straight in deep. And today is going to be no different. This is a really important area. Career and mission, and the reason for me is because I believe invariably, especially in the Western world, we probably spend the largest percentile, apart from sleep, of our time working. And so therefore I think it's highly important that we really look carefully at this area. Now, one of the things I want to say before we dive into this session is not going to be, if you're really settled in a career right now and you're like, oh, I probably don't need to watch this one. If you're really content in a job, you've got a business that you absolutely love, and you're like, maybe I don't need this one. This isn't so much about changing for you. It'll just be about amplifying what's already great. And then for those of you that are maybe in a career that you don't enjoy, and you want to sack the boss, for example, as my good friend Liam Ryan would say, then this is going to be great for you because it's really going to give you some practical coaching questions to help you to figure out your next move. One of the things I'll say about these sessions is highly always recommend you always have a notepad so that you can answer the questions live. This is a live session. If you're here and you're watching live, hello, I am live. It is 6 p.m., just gone 6 p.m. I am here. It is live. So if you're here, let me know that you're here. If you want to, put the answers to your questions in the chat, but I would recommend you probably write them down because you're going to want to have them to reference back away from the session. Most of your action taking is going to happen after the session rather than during. So you want to make sure you've got things written down. And then at the end of the broadcast, I'll give you some accountability so that I can hold you to it, because it's great to have this motivational session. But if there's no accountability, often invariably us human beings don't always follow through. We have the intention, but we invariably don't. So I want to be your coach for the next 21 days. So make sure you DM me, if that's the appropriate term, or put your actions in the chat after the session. But all of that will be clear when we get to the end of the broadcast. So let's talk about career and mission. Firstly, I just want to stress why I think this session is so important. Obviously, the past 18 months we've been through COVID. There's been people losing jobs, people losing businesses. I think it's never been more important than ever to define your career and to make sure that it creates not just financial stability, but it also gives you fulfillment. Tony Robbins is renowned for saying success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure. We all know someone who is maybe making great money but isn't happy. We all know people that are not making great money that aren't happy, and vice versa. So the income rewards of career doesn't always guarantee fulfillment. It can guarantee success in the eyes of the external world, but it doesn't guarantee fulfillment. I know from my experience of me and Sati having Sage, there are some incredible people that work in, hospitals like Coventry, Walsgrave Hospital, where we had Sage and had 2 miscarriages before that. Incredible. And my feeling from being around them is they're very fulfilled. So I just want to stress that this isn't about all of a sudden maybe ripping up the playbook of whatever you're doing now. It's actually about maybe looking at it and seeing how you can amplify it and make it great. I'll tell you a quick story. 12 plus years ago, it's even longer than that now, actually. Oh my word. Can't believe I've told this story so many times. I've said 12 years. It's not 12 years ago. It's more like 17 years ago. That's how time flies, right? That's why you got to make sure that you're really looking at yourself, and you're working on yourself. Because I've just said 12 and it's not, it's 17. 17 years ago, I was selling gym memberships for a living. My mum ran a gym for 20 years and I kind of fell into that industry. And I'll never forget selling a membership to a lady in Stevenage who came in a little bit of an attitude from my perspective initially. Oh, I'm only here for a quick tour. Just show me around. I don't want the sales spiel, all this kind of stuff, right? At the time, I'm 21. Last week, I'm 21, and I'm really only really focused on the people that come in who are just like ready to buy. I didn't really like selling. I didn't enjoy it. So I was kind of winging my way and hoping I could just fly under the radar, make some good sales, buy myself new trainers every week by just selling to the people that came in and said, I want to join, sign me up. This lady wasn't one of those people. She was hard, right? And I was ready for giving up. You know, I kind of showed her around. I was ready to get rid of her. And anyway, at the end of the tour, you may have heard this story before. She didn't go, like she stayed, and I couldn't work out why, because I was clearly giving her the body language of get rid of her, right? She stuck around, and to cut a very long story short, she opened up to me and said the reason why she was there is because she knew that she needed to join the gym. She'd put on loads of weight. She'd been shouting at the kids. Her and her husband have not been physically intimate for months. And she's kind of worried that if she didn't do something about her health, he was either going to leave or have an affair. Like, literally, that's how honest and open and vulnerable she was. And then her eyes glazed over and she started to cry. And yeah, it was powerful for me because she did join that day, and there's a positive end to the story. She did join that day. Her husband joined as well. I think about a couple of weeks later, and I know for a fact because I still know the owners of that gym that they're still married. And the reason I tell you that story is because up until that point, I was in sales, and I felt like I was a salesperson, and I didn't want to be. And after that day, after that tour with Sandra in Stevenage, I was no longer in sales. I felt like I had a mission. I felt like I had a career. And my career was to get people who were not for fitness to become for fitness. Because I saw for the very first time the impact that me being able to close a sale to someone who had an underlying real problem, the difference that would make on her life versus if she didn't. And so after that, I literally became obsessed. I did that job then for the next 10 years and sold over 20,000 memberships all around the UK. I had won Salesperson of the Year multiple times, and it became a mission. And I actually created a sales coaching training business. My first coaching business was coaching gyms how to sell, how to do it with integrity and ethically. And that really came about because of that one experience with Sandra. And so Sandra, if you're watching, she's not, yeah, it was big for me. So this is why I'm saying, you know, if you're in a job that you don't enjoy, don't think that it's necessarily about changing the job. Maybe change you first. Because I always say, you know, I heard, again, I'm quoting Tony, but I heard this years ago, which is if you change a situation without changing you first, you just take you to the next one. So when I had failed relationship after failed relationship after failed relationship, I was looking for a better partner. I didn't need a better partner. I needed a better me. And the same goes in career. So don't be fooled into thinking that the career that you've got isn't good. It could be great. Might just mean that you need to change your thinking. So let's get into the session. That is long enough for me to summarize, I think, and pre-frame what we're going to be doing. So all I'm going to do, as always in these sessions, is I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to present. I'm going to throw up some slides. And we're going to get into this thing. So here we go. Autoplay. Now we don't want autoplay on. Thank you though, Canva. Great platform, by the way. Shout out to Canva. Shout out Canva. If you're watching, you should be, because I use your slides all the time. Okay. Let's get in, grab your notepad. Let's get ready for some coaching on career and mission. First question or statement. My ideal career looks and feels like. Write down whatever comes up. My ideal career looks and feels like. What are some key words that spring to mind? My ideal career looks and feels like. I feel like we need some music. It wouldn't be that, would it? Let's be fair. My ideal career looks and feels like. Okay, next. 3 words to describe my ideal career are. 3 words to describe my ideal career. If you had to summarize your ideal career in 3 words, what would that be? Don't overthink these questions. Just go with your first response. The reasons, for those of you that have got your 3 words, the reasons I chose these 3 words are, 1 or 2 is sufficient. What is a primary reason? Why did you choose those words? Why do you think those words came up first? Like I said, feel free to put your comments in the box. If you're joining us late, welcome to True Day 6, a 21-day self-coaching journey. We're on day 6. We're looking at career and mission. Welcome. Let me know in the chat if you're here. Give me a yo or a holler. Let me know that you're in the building. Or on Facebook. Not really in the building, is it? For me to start living those 3 words, I'd have to stop. So think about those 3 words that you wrote down. What are maybe some behaviors or habits? What are some things that maybe are not best practice for you in terms of how you show up as a person? What are some things that you'd have to stop doing to start living into those 3 words? So for me, when I was selling gym memberships, I had to stop believing that this was just sales. That's what I had to stop believing, that this was just about making money, that this was just about me earning commission to pay for nights out and buy new trainers. I had to stop believing that. I had to stop believing that it was just a job and that it wasn't long term. And then for those of you that are ready, what would you have to start doing? So for you to start living those 3 words now, what would you have to start doing? So for me, it was I had to start believing that this so-called membership sales job that I dressed down was actually a life-changing career for me and for other people. And I don't think it's a surprise that then led on to me creating my first coaching business, because I totally switched and reframed it differently. Many of the people that did that job around the same time as me didn't make it into a business. And that's not a criticism or a judgment, but potentially it was because they didn't believe in the higher purpose of it as maybe I did. So for you to start living those 3 words now, what would you have to start doing? A long-term consequence of not living into these 3 words is, so if you think about the long term, remember, we're not talking about changing careers, unless that's something that you're thinking about as you do this coaching. We're actually talking about, first and foremost, making the first change from within. So really living some character traits that mean you're more likely to attract either your ideal career anew, or you're more likely to amplify what's great about the career that you're already in. And the long-term consequence of not living those three really positive words, what is a consequence of that? Maybe you'd lose that career. Maybe you'd end up staying in a career that doesn't fulfill you. Maybe you feel like you won't fulfill your true potential. What's a long-term consequence of not living into these three words? And then once you've got that down, love this question. If I had to change one thing in this area, so this career mission area, if I had to change one thing, which would be the most important to change first? The situation, so like the career itself, or the way I look at the situation? If you could only change one thing, which would be the most important to change first? The situation itself, or your attitude and the way that you react and respond to the situation? Again, as always, feel free to put your answers if you want to into the chat, but make sure that you've got them down on paper for yourself. Couple more. By focusing more energy on living my three words, I'll gain. So by putting more energy into living these three words, what are you going to gain? How is life going to be better by you living into your three career words? How is life going to be better? What will be some of the benefits of you living into these three words? Well done, those of you that are commenting. Well done for playing full out. With my ideal career, my life will be better in the following ways. So it might have already been answered because of what you just did in the last question, a little bit of overlap. But my ideal career will be with my ideal career, my life will be better in the following ways. We have more free time, more income. Will you mean that you can do more of what you love in terms of maybe you've got kids and maybe you miss out on certain experiences, school runs, maybe you have to send them into nursery more than you'd like. Maybe you don't get to travel as much as you'd like, and that will enable you to travel more, live a lifestyle where you can move around. How will your life be better? A small step I will take today towards achieving my ideal result in this area this year is, so kind of bringing this all to conclusion, what is a simple, small step that you could take today, this evening, tonight, straight after this broadcast, to help you towards achieving your ideal result in this area this year? And then finally, accountability. I would like you to post your action step that you're committed to taking in the chat so that I know that you are actually committed to doing that action. Don't wait until tomorrow or 7 o'clock. Do it now. But literally, while we're on now, put your notepad down and make a decision. What's one simple Chinese proverb says, journey of 1,000 miles begins with a simple step. What is one simple step? One simple thing that you could do tonight. You might go, I could put my three words on a big sheet of paper and stick it on the bathroom mirror to remind me to live into those three words. That might be the thing for you. What could you do tonight to make sure that you move forward? Progress equals happiness. So make sure you put that in the chat. Do not leave the broadcast without doing that. I see some people putting it in. Make sure you put your comment in the chat. That's it for tonight. These coaching sessions are always practical, short, sharp, to the point, common sense, but not always common practice. I believe that what the world needs right now is not more answers from the outside, but more answers from within. And that comes from asking life's important questions. Hope you've enjoyed tonight. Make sure that you've hit subscribe if you're watching on YouTube, or the notification bell if you're watching on Facebook, so that you get notified of the next sessions. We'll be back tomorrow night, 6 p.m. UK time, looking at love. I'll see you tomorrow night. Peace out.